Hello and welcome to Countrywide on Benue Television. I am Susan Ayo. The headlines. Governor Hyacinth Alia says his administration will organize an international investment summit to attract more investors to the state. President Bola Tinubu pleads with aggrieved youth to shelve plans of nationwide protest. Plus, federal government offers 150,000 naira grants to micro, small and medium enterprises in Jigawa State. Now the news in details. As part of efforts to attract more investors to the state, Benue State government has decided to organize an international investment summit for an economic city and diaspora estate in the state. Governor Hyacinth Alia made this decision in an interview with the media at the Government House, Makudi. Correspondent Emmanuel Akula has details of the reports.
The Benue State government is exploring options of attracting investments towards improving the economy of the state. According to Governor Hyacinth Alia, the summit will ensure people living outside the country invest in Benue, targeting goods that will sell at wholesale prices. The present administration under Governor Alia has already signed 2 memoranda of understanding with 2 international partners, Sinoki Systems Limited and Shanghai Haitian Hospital. These 2 partnerships, according to the governor, are beneficial to the state.
We are excited about this investment because it's going to open up many more doors, investment doors, economic doors, and commercial doors in the state. And as we rightly had mentioned at some other forum, we are as a state open to full-time business. We invite the good foreign business investors to come into the state to see how they can partner with us, to see how they can invest in the state for their own good and the prosperity of ours in the state.
Why the Memorandum of Understanding between the government and Sinoki Systems Limited is for the establishment of a solar panel production factory. That with Shanghai Haitian Hospital is aimed at upgrading facilities at the Benue State University Teaching Hospital to boost its capacity to deliver quality health care. Special advisor to the Governor on International Investments, Alex Adingi, affirms that the partnerships are already yielding positive results for the state. Mr. Adingi states that 5 more memoranda of understanding will be signed before November this year as part of government's efforts to change the economic status of the state. He notes that one of such companies will be mining coal for the production of fertilizers, especially urea.
All the raw materials are here. That means we are laying a foundation for 100% renewable energy, which is great. We also talked about the health sector, and we've just signed an agreement with a Chinese company, with a Chinese hospital, Haitian Hospital in Shanghai, and they have already started. This agreement has taken, the MOU has taken effect already.
He says plans were on the way to ensure that both public and private moribund industries will be revived and repositioned to improve the state economy and create job opportunities for the unemployed. Emmanuel Akula, Benue Vision News, Makudi.
Benue State Teaching Hospital has inaugurated the Committee for Implementation of Cancer Center. The Chief Medical Director, Dr. Stephen Hwandi, performed the inauguration ceremony at the conference hall of the Teaching Hospital, Makudi, with a charge for excellent, transparent, and speedy execution of the project. Correspondent Matthew Iklono was there and now reports.
These are the 13 committee members for the implementation of the Cancer Center launched Friday. During the ceremony, Dr. Stephen Wande charges the members of the committee to be transparent and hardworking for speedy execution of the project. Dr. Wande praises Governor Hyacinth Alia, the former governor and Senator Gabriel Suswan, the royal fathers and other dignitaries for making the International Health Summit and the scientific exhibition and the endowment fund for the Cancer Center a great success.
So we want to use this occasion to thank them for their presence. It's a summit that brought together both political class, traditional rulers, non-governmental, private sector. Everybody was there, youths, young men, and the press, to discuss the future of healthcare in Benue. And it was a huge success, and like the governor said, it's going to become an annual event.
Chairman of the committee, Dr. Samuel Utini, assures the CMD and Benue people that the committee will serve totally towards the implementation of the project.
All I can assure my chief medical director and the government, all I can assure the public of is the fact that we will ensure that no stone is left unturned. We will ensure that no step is skipped so that we don't have to come back and waste funds. We will ensure that every single fund that is allocated for this project is used for what it was meant for.
The committee comprises Dr. Samuel Utini as chairman, Isaac Anongo as vice chairman, and other senior staff from the teaching hospital as members. Matthew Ikulono, Benue Television News.
22nd July is marked annually as World Brain Day to educate people and create awareness about neurological disorder, with the theme for this year as Brain Health and Prevention. Consultant neurologist with the Benue State University Teaching Hospital, Makudi, Dr. Emmanuel Iwozu, is advising people to take proper care of the brain, as it is the central system that controls the body of every human being. He gave the advice during the Benue television live program Talk Health. Iwangu Baja has the reports.
It is interesting to note that almost all the 5 senses are located on the head and subsequently controlled by the brain. An injury to the head is therefore not taken lightly, as people give special attention to such. Some people across the state told Benue Television about the kind of care they give to their head, considering safety measures.
I don't go in taking hard drugs, drinking of alcohol, smoking of cigarettes, and what have you.
Brain is the most important organ that can make possible solution or translate actions to the physical body. It's through brain that you have and you can be rational.
The brain is very, very important to every human being. So it's enough reason to celebrate it.
Dr. Emmanuel Iwozo, a neurologist who featured on Talk Health, said the brain is what makes a man. Without the brain, a human being cannot and will not function well. Iwozo mentioned some disorders related to the brain and called out risk factors that could predispose one to having brain disorders.
The brain is so central to a human being that anyone whose brain is dysfunctional or whose brain has a problem will likely not function well. When somebody has something as common as diabetes mellitus, that person is already at risk of having a brain or nervous system disease. Even sometimes people could be exposed to chemicals, and a lot of chemicals also are in our environment, some pesticides, some herbicides. All this could predispose people to have neurological disease. Environment also is important to know, particularly there's a lot of psychosocial stress. The economic stress is also taking a toll on a lot of people. That makes people work without resting. So even not sleeping, stress also can predispose to neurological or brain diseases. It can predispose to stroke and other brain diseases.
He said brain or neurological disorders could be prevented with lifestyle modification.
Diet, as basic as it is, all right, it is good for people to eat healthy. It's good for people to eat well. The kind of diet to take, what to avoid, what to take, that could handle it.
On who is mostly affected with brain disorders, Iwozu said adults between 18 to 90 years.
You could also get people at 80, get people at 90 who will go to the next neighbor's house, and on returning back home, we miss his way and go to somewhere else. Who built his house, knows the way to his bedroom, and when you want him to go to the bedroom, he rather goes outside the house because he doesn't know his way. It's a brain disorder.
Iwozu also gave an illustration of how an epileptic patient could be given first aid treatment.
For when someone is conversing, one of the things to do is to get the person to an environment, a location that is free from harm, where there are no objects, harmful objects, okay? So that even if the person is checking, is within that environment where there are no harms. Number two, losing the clothing, okay? Number three, you put the patient on what we call the left lateral position, tilt the head to the left lateral position.
According to global disease burden statistics, 33.1 billion people have neurological disorders globally, and 11.1% die from neurological disorders. Iwage Baja, Benue Television News.
The challenges of illegal levies have come to the front burner for talks of fiscal policy matters of the state. Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Youth Organization and Illegal Levies, Mr. Tevek Benda, takes a stand to curb extortion and illegal levies in the state, line with the policy framework of Governor Hyacinth Alia's administration. The youth leader made this known during the Benue television flagship program Daybreak Benue, while analyzing the effects of this menace on the citizenry. Correspondent Dorcas Chia monitored the program and reports.
The issue of extortion and illegal levies has become a great menace that has bedeviled the state. These were the words of the youth leader, Tevek Benda, during the discussion on Daybreak Benue. He said the issue has brought about underdevelopment in the state due to the numerous illegal levies that are to be paid. He also mentioned that this act has caused a hike in price of goods in the market, pointing at illegal checkpoints on the Benue road, which are giving the state a bad name.
So these people increase their products based on what they have paid around Benue State before coming in of the administration of Fadalia. But now you can see the illegal chicken point is no more longer there like that, because we have dismantled a lot of the illegal chicken point on the road. And at the market, I think those people can testify themselves. At the market level, we have bring it minimum to a level. You cannot just go into market and now go and collect money.
Mr. Benda attributed the cause of illegal tax units to the laziness of young persons and their unwillingness to engage in meaningful labor. He encouraged youths to engage in meaningful activities that will keep them active and bring profits, such as farming.
They don't have ID card, so it is very... You can't just identify them. They don't have an office, so they promised me they're going to have offices around the town here, and they promised me they're going to get ID card for themselves, and also a particular jacket where you identify an agent with, because they have quack and fake agents so much in Benue State.
In a bid to end extortion in the state, Mr. Gbenda mentioned that the task force has been able to dismantle a lot of extortion points in marketplaces, in addition to collaboration with traditional rulers and community leaders in the state to help identify perpetrators.
We don't stop at that level. We'll still make it well known to the youth, and we'll still make it to the general public to know that these are the legitimate things you need to pay. These ones they are not relevant, or these ones before, now if who was paying it, for now you cannot pay it again. So we will put, me and the VC will put heads together to negotiate, not just only BSU, other institutions too, but kind of also, since I have a coordinator in charge of that, I'll make sure he visits these institutions and get issues about these places so that we can solve them.
The guest said plans to curb extortion in schools and amongst landlords and house agents were also in the pipeline. Dorcas Shia, Benue Television News, Makudi.
You're watching Countrywide on Benue Television. Let's take a quick break. Stay with us. Glad to have you back. President Bola Tinubu has pleaded with aggrieved Nigerians, especially youth, planning a national protest over the high cost of living to shift the action, saying there is no need for it. The president also assured those behind the planned protest that he had heard their grievances and is working to ensure that all their concerns are addressed. Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris conveyed the president's plea while speaking with newsmen after he met with Tinubu at the presidential villa, Abuja. The president's assurance came as the face-off between Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, and the 2023 presidential candidates of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, took a new twist. Obi's lawyer on Tuesday wrote Onanuga demanding 5 billion naira and an apology within 72 hours for accusing him and his supporters of high treason in allegedly being masterminds of the planned bad governance protest. In like manner, former presidential aspirants and chieftains of the Labour Party, Professor Pat Otomi, challenged Onanuga to produce evidence of his involvement in the planned protest or face 500 million litigation. The Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Ogbetekun, has warned groups planning and mobilizing for a nationwide protest against economic hardship in the country, scheduled to begin August 1, 2024, to have a rethink and decision the plan because it is ill-advised. The IGP spoke against the backdrop of viral social media campaigns about the proposed protest, which is gaining momentum, pointing out that the country has had its fair share of violent protests with negative consequences. Speaking at the meeting with Deputy Inspector Generals, Assistant Inspector Generals, and Command Police Commissioners of the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, Ogbetekun reminded Nigerians that the last EndSARS protests aggravated crimes rates and insecurity in several parts of the country. Consequently, the IGP urged citizens to jettison the proposed protest, insisting that the police have the responsibility to protect citizens and their properties. Ogbetekun said measures are in place to ensure the hoodlums attempting to disguise themselves as protesters are apprehended. The National Association of Nigerian Student NANS has said it understands what Nigerians are facing because of the state of the nation's economy. It, however, warned against embarking on protests that could lead to unrest, saying that it is not going to provide any solution to the problems at hand. In a statement on Wednesday, National President of NANS, Lucky Enenefe, said there is need to have a clear assessment of the situation and the necessary steps to take instead of embarking on protest. He said call those behind the planned protest to come out in an open and stop hiding their identities, saying it is necessary for Nigerians to interrogate their motives for the planned action. He assured that Nigerian students would not be part of any step or action to set the motion on fire, noting that cutting off the heads is not the antidote for headache. The federal government has offered 150,000 naira grants to outstanding micro, small and medium enterprises (MSMEs) in Jigawa State. Vice President Kashim Shettima announced the offer while launching the 4th edition of the expanded National Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Clinic in Dutse, the Jigawa State capital. Shettima, who restated the federal government's support to MSMEs, noted that the 115,000 naira grants does not require beneficiaries to pay. He said that as foundation of the nation's economy, the MSMEs subsectors has remained a top priority of the Tinubu's administration. He noted that they not only represent 96% of all businesses in Nigeria, but contributed more than 45% to its gross domestic product. The Vice President stated that the prosperity of small businesses was the prosperity of the nation. He urged businesses owners not to harbor any fear assuring that the Tinubu's administration will not rest until all of them is in the vantage position to assess the support and capital provided for them. Earlier, Jigawa State Governor Omar Namadi thanked the federal government for providing dividends of democracy to people of the state through the MSME clinic related projects across the area. Governor Namadi urged the existing and aspiring small businesses owners in the state to take advantage of services provided through the clinics, describing the initiative as a rare opportunity for operators in the sector. The Senate has passed an amendment bill which seeks to enable a person appointed to the Office of Inspector General of Police to remain in office until the end of the term stipulated in the letter of appointment. This is sequel to the presentation of a bill for an act to amend the Police Act and for related matters by the Senate leader Opeyemi Bamidele. The executive bill forwarded to the Senate by President Bola Tinubu in a letter to the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, was first presented for first reading, then scaled second reading and was read the third time and passed. In his lead debate on the general principles of the bill, Bamidele said the bill aims to revolutionalize police operation by enhancing accountability, modernizing policing methods, and fostering a more harmonious relationship between the police and the community. We'll take more news after this break. Don't go away. Glad to have you back on Countrywide. Katsina government has constituted a 7-member committee to investigate alleged torture against personnel of the state's Hishbar board. This is coming against the backdrop of a viral video alleging showing personnel of the board torturing individuals. Secretary to the state government Abdullahi Garba Faskari said that the decision was sequel to reports and complaints received by the government. He said the acting governor Farouk Lawal Job ordered the setting up of the committee to investigate the allegations and make recommendations. Garba Faskari revealed that the committee would be headed by the Commissioner for Youth and Sport, Aliu Lawal. He said that the members of the committee were drawn from the Ministries of Religious Affairs, Internal Security and Justice, the Departments of Public Service Administration and Coalition of Civil Society Organizations, while the Director Security Office of the would serve as secretary. The committee was mandated to investigate the alleged torture of individuals by Hizbah personnel and submit its reports within 10 days. The Hizbah Corp, which operates under the jurisdiction of the Hizbah Board, comprises government officials, religious leaders, and enforcement agents. Its mode of operation is highly decentralized, with local units being supervised by the committees composed of officials and citizens in their respective communities. With that report, we've come to the end of our bulletin this afternoon. Before we go, a recap of the top stories. Governor Hyacinth Alia has said his administration will organize an international investment summit to attract more investors to the state. President Bola Tinubu has pleaded with aggrieved youth to shave plans of nationwide protest. We also told you that federal government has offered 150,000 naira grants to micro, small and medium enterprises in Jigawa State. Thanks for being part of Countrywide and Benue Television. I am Susan Ayo. Remain blessed.